Hello, this is Stampy, and welcome to a behind-the-scenes video talking about how I planned and designed one of my most recent mini-games. And as I'm recording this, I haven't yet finished designing the game. I basically have a concept, but I thought that now might be a good time just to kind of show you how I come up with my ideas and how I make them into mini-games. Because I think a lot of people assume that when I come up with a mini-game, I just think of an idea and then I do it, and you know, the first time I think of the idea, it's pretty much perfect. But that is definitely not the case. There's lots of changes and iterations and tests that I need to do before I come up with the game. So the game I'm designing at the moment is it would have been the most recent one I've uploaded, the one where I'm like dropping and either landing in boats or avoiding boats. As you can see, I don't exactly know how it's going to end up. So this is me in my sketchbook world where I kind of design all of my mini games. I'll show you on the map quick. It's pretty giant, and I'm probably going to do a video of this entire world and kind of show you some of the ideas I had that didn't become games. Like all of these things down here are ideas for games that ended up not becoming games. So I don't know, I might go and show you some of these at some point. Who knows, maybe I uploaded that video before this one. But anyway, today we're focusing on this game. So I'm thinking of calling it Fall For It. I don't know if that is what I'm going to end up calling it, so that's probably what I'm going to call it. And so the idea was I wanted to do a dropper minigame. And if you don't know what a dropper is, it's basically the games where you start up high and you need to drop and you need to avoid obstacles on your way down. The problem with building that game in my lovely world was the fact that the droppers are only really fun the first time you play them, because a lot of the fun is kind of working out the route that you need to drop down. And of course, I'm not going to rebuild it every time I play it, so I thought that it might be fun at first, but then it would get really, really boring. And seeing as I was only going to build one, I kind of decided to not build a dropper. But then I had the idea to do a dropper that changes. And so first I was playing around the ideas of having pistons going in and out, changing terrain, but I realized that wouldn't really work very well and would be quite predictable still. So what I decided to do is to use boats. And so the first idea was to have a big tube, like a traditional dropper game, and have different layers where I'd have boats. And the plan was that hopefully, if I kind of built some rapids, the boats would kind of just keep bouncing around like this on the water, and then I'd have to go and avoid them. But I realized that was kind of a little bit too unpredictable, and sometimes the boats ended up staying still. And of course, every time you drop through a layer, you kind of get slowed down, which makes it easier, and the whole thing would have to be really tall. So I decided in the end to, instead of dropping through multiple things, really making it all about the landing. And so I came up with a new idea here, where I'd use a dispenser. So let me just go and throw a few more boats inside of here. And so the idea was that there was going to be signs underneath here. And so I was going to have multiple layers of this where I'd drop through the signs like this. But you can see that there's water getting pushed out of all of these dispensers, and they're kind of going all over the place. And so this design actually isn't set up as it's supposed to be. Basically, the first time I did the design here, actually, is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one. Yeah, originally I kind of just did them dispensers the whole way along the outside here, but that kind of meant that a lot of the boats kind of went just back and forth, and they never really ended up in the middle. And so I was like, oh, maybe I could do them on the corner. But then I kind of looked at it and I was like, this is way too complicated, and there's just way too many dispensers, and I just knew that I'd be able to simplify it down a little bit. And so, I mean, what this redstone's doing is basically it sets off the water, but of course you then need to turn the water off again, so you can see it kind of loops back round and turns the water off again. But the problem was there was just too many dispensers, and the redstone kind of got a little bit silly, so I wanted to change it. And you can also see I had some other experimentations around here, and there's a weird glitch, and it's kind of hard to replicate, but basically you can make it so boats kind of float over nothing. And I was trying to play around with that because they can kind of glitch and float out for a bit and then they kind of fly back. And I thought maybe if I could use that glitch, but it kind of proved to be a little bit unreliable. And there's some other tests there. Oh yeah, I also tested with just having them bouncing. So I remember hearing about a block that allows boats to bounce off them. And I thought it was anvils, and so I was playing around with that, and I tried like slime blocks as well, but I couldn't get the boats to bounce off it. And so I kind of like the idea of instead of having blocks around the outside, to have kind of some bouncy material, but I couldn't work out what it was. I tried armor stands, I tried all sorts of different things, but I couldn't work it out. So if you know, please let me know, and I might update the game, because it'd be good if there was like bouncy walls, if the boats could actually bounce off them, that would be really handy. But anyway, I then moved on to this design over here, and at the moment this is kind of my most current design. So you can see that I now only have one dispenser in each corner. and these dispensers only put out a tiny bit of water. It literally only kind of covers these 3 blocks here, but because the boats fly out in different directions and then bounce each other, they kind of end up going randomly around the place, and because they don't go so fast, there's less chance that they're going to break. They sometimes do break. I think that's almost impossible to avoid, just because of how fragile the boats are, but at the moment, this works pretty well. So the way the redstone works is I'm going to have it so it starts off, where's the lever? I think it must be on this side. Oh, there's a button here. So as I press it, this redstone is going to go along this way and set the water to come out of that dispenser, and then these dispensers are going to slow down another signal, so when it gets to this dispenser, it's then going to turn it off. It then basically comes back around this way and does the same thing again and again and again. So each one's going to be turning on and off, kind of in tandem, and yeah, eventually the boats are going to go crazy. So let's go and throw a few more of these in here. And where did my button go? Was it on this side again? Why is it always the last side I look at? So yeah, let's set this off and let's see how well this goes. So you can see the water comes out of here, and then it comes out of that one, then that one's gonna go off, and then that one kind of goes on at the same time. And you can see, even though it's just a little splash of water in each corner, because the boats are bouncing off each other, they kind of spread out quite evenly, and they kind of cover the walls, and they kind of cover the middle as well. Because I was worried that someone might be able to kind of hug the wall on the way down, and just kind of have one reliable place to go to. But at the moment, this seems to be working pretty well. So this is probably how the bottom section's going to be. I'm not sure whether I'm going to have floor like this. I kind of like the idea of you're just landing in something. And I'm trying to think of whether there's a good theme I could come up with. One idea I had was kind of doing this as a heart and calling it Falling in Love, just because I like the pun. I always had the idea of making this like a cereal bowl and having this cereal. I don't know if I'm gonna, I might just make it a more simple game, because I don't know how well those themes are gonna work. But yeah, I wanna know whether you're just gonna land in here, or whether there's gonna be something else, and whether I even need to have walls, because if I build walls all the way up the side here, it's going to take ages in the video, and it's going to, I don't know, it's going to be like a bit of an eyesore. So I might just kind of have one tower to here, and then you just jump down and you just have to land in the water and avoid the boats. And oh, there we go. I would have failed. And then another idea I have is to make it so you need to land in the boat. So if you have like only a few boats, or even only one boat, and the game is that you need to try and land in that boat. So let me just go really high up here, and let's see if I'm going to be able to land in the boat. This mode doesn't work so well on this one as it did on that one, because the boat doesn't go as fast, but let's see if I'm able to do it. Can I land inside of the boat? Nope, I wasn't able to do it. So that also, for that to work, you'd kind of need to drop through, because obviously having the floor here, you could kind of land and jump in quickly, so you'll need to have the signs. But yeah, they're kind of the ideas that are going around in my head at the moment. So once I've kind of developed it a bit more and have a bit more of an update, I'm going to carry on recording, and hopefully I'm kind of going to show you every step of the way until I'm ready to start building it in my lovely world. So yeah, I'll cut ahead in the video now until I've made a little bit more progress on the design. Okay, so I've been doing a little bit more tinkering. As you can see, I've kind of destroyed it. I basically had to do some redstone, but you can see, look at the redstone now. It's completely different. So if you remember, this was the first design, and this is what the redstone was like, and now this is what I've kind of changed it to, and it's pretty much doing the exact same thing. All I've done is I've now obviously got less dispensers and kind of made the whole thing a little bit more streamlined. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because now it's underneath. And so that means it's not going to take up any more space. So say if the water will be at like this level, isn't it? I could have a doorway here like this. Let me just go and grab a door. You will do. So I can go and throw that door down there. And so then that way, after you like swim in the water, you can go and swim to the door, and then you can get out, and there's going to be no redstone here. Obviously, like it's going to be a wall up to like there, but that's fine, because I can have this whole section. This can be underground when I build it in my lovely world. So that all that redstone should be hidden, and it works pretty much exactly the same. And it's always like, it's important to me that the redstone is simple, not only because it's easier to build when I go to build it in the video, but also because I know that there's going to be a lot of people trying to build the game as well. And the more simple the redstone is, the more people that are going to attempt to build the game, because if they see something that looks complicated, they're not going to do it. But this, I can kind of, you know, you can just get a screenshot of that and you can just copy it. It's really simple. And so this is the way it works. It's pretty much the same way. So let's say where's my button again? I've lost my button. There it is. So yeah, as I press that, the redstone is going to go over to, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a repeater like this in all of these areas, and the reason for that is just to make sure the redstone goes in the way I want. So there we go. So as I press this button, the redstone won't go this way, but it will go this. Oh no, that's not going to work then. And then just nothing's going to happen if I do that. All right, forget that. I'm going to get rid of these. It worked fine before. I don't know why I tried to change it. This is probably going to change another 5 times before I end up building it in my lovely world. Anyway, let me just show you. So as I press it, you can see that this is going to make the dispenser fire. At the moment, I've just put dirt in the other dispensers because if there was still water in, then my redstone would be ruined pretty quick. But if I kind of go up here and you can kind of see it from above, you can see that when the dirt comes out, you can see it kind of does it in pairs. And so what would be happening if that was water is one of the dispensers would be pushing out water, and then the other one would be turning off water. So you can see it will kind of basically go around in a circle, kind of like a washing machine. Ooh, washing machine. Could that be a theme? I don't know, a washing machine? I don't know. That means I'd have to build a giant washing machine in my fun land, which would look really ugly. But there we go. You can kind of see how it works, and it's really simple now. And so the big thing is now deciding what it's going to look like. I don't think I am going to make it look like cereal or anything like that. I think I'm just going to make it try and look cool, and then call the game full for it. I think I'm pretty much settled on that name at this point. So of course I need to work out the like the tower section. There's basically gonna be a big tower here with probably a ladder on. I also want to of course have a bed at the top, because if you fall and then you land on a boat, then you can go and basically go and keep doing the game again and again and again, as there's gonna be a much better game to play at night. Rather than in the day. And yeah, then I just need to decide on the materials. I need to decide what I want the game to look like. Of course, I'm not going to be building out of this. Is this diorite? I think that might be. Yeah, this is diorite. So the reason I'm using diorite to build, or like you can see I'm using a bunch of, like a lot of the times when I'm designing these games, I don't build with the material that I think I'm going to end up using. And the reason I kind of use materials that I wouldn't use is because I know that I then wouldn't be tempted to actually like use that when I come to do it. Because whenever, like, if I'm designing something and I'm building out of, say, snow, and I get used to seeing it as snow, I kind of get attached to the look of it being snow. But snow might not be the best looking thing, but because I've got used to it, then I'm more tempted to build the actual thing out of that material. And so the reason I'm using materials that I don't really have in my lovely world is simply because that way I know that when I decide what it is going to look like, I'm kind of looking at every block equally, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense. So what I'm going to do now is I'm probably going to try and get this game working. So I'm going to fill in the water and make sure it does all work properly. I'm then going to kind of design the tower section, and then I'm going to start thinking about what the actual minigame is going to end up looking like. So yeah, once again, I'm going to start recording again once I've made a little bit more progress. Okay, new update. As you can see, the area is now filled up with water again, and the redstone is all working lovely. You can see that one goes on, then that one goes on, and then that one will go off, and then that one goes on. So yep, that is all working absolutely fine. It's a little bit tricky to get the start to work. You kind of need to break a bit of redstone and then set it off and then put the redstone back. But luckily, you kind of only need to do that once, and then it will basically like endlessly be working. So even when we're not playing the game, this is just going to keep on doing what it's doing, because why not? Doesn't matter. Then that way, when you're ready to come and play, you can come and play. You've also probably noticed that I have some columns now. These go all the way up to there. So I've added like ladders along either side here, and then the doors are going to be on these sides just to keep it nice and symmetrical, the way I like it. And then you'll climb up this ladder, which is the annoying thing. There's no way to avoid the fact that you have to go in. Was there a hole? I thought I saw a hole. Oh no, there's no hole. It's okay. Yeah, so there's no real way to avoid the fact that you need to climb up. Like, I could do a water elevator or like the whole minecart trick to pile up, but you know what? I think a good old-fashioned ladder is fine. And so basically during the video, when I'm recording it, I can just basically be chatting away when I'm climbing up. So it doesn't matter too much, and it doesn't take too long. So yeah, we then arrive up here. So we have some beds that we can go and sleep on. I don't really like how, I don't know, there's not much room around here, but I think it's fine. I think I'd rather keep the area up here smaller. And actually, let's have a little quick test at when I sleep, where do I end up? Because there's a chest on one side and then a fence on the other side. I just want to make sure I don't end up on the other side of the fence or anything weird like that. Oh no, there we go. Absolutely perfect. So as I said, I'm quite close to the edge, but it shouldn't matter too much anyway. And so the good thing that I've realized is because sometimes if the boats stop moving or sometimes if they get destroyed, you want to add more boats. So what you can do while up here is just place boats down like on the edge here and then just nudge them off, and then that way you can just really easily go and reset the game. So I can set one going down there and I can set another one going down here, and then they can all go and bounce. It also allows you to kind of adjust the difficulty. So obviously the more boats that are down there, the more difficult the game's going to be, and it also means you can kind of change it to where there's only one boat. And I guess if you want to get rid of boats, you could shoot them with a bow and arrow, which might be kind of just a fun mini game by itself, trying to shoot all of the boats bouncing around down there. So you can see I can push a bunch of boats down. They should land there, and then once kind of one knocks one of them, then they're all going to start bouncing around and doing their thing, just like they're doing now. And so the reason I decided to build it this height, as you can see, I can look down and I can see the boats, but if I go a little bit higher, I can now no longer see the boats. This is kind of the limit of where you can see the boats, so I can't really go any higher than this, because otherwise you wouldn't see how many boats are down there, or if they're bouncing, or be able to adjust it. So this is kind of the limit of how high you can be, and so then the way the game would work, I would jump down and I need to try and avoid the boats, just like that, and land in the water. So that's pretty much the main part of the game design now. I might play around a little bit just to try and make sure they don't get stuck. They seem to be working okay now, but as you can see, they do sometimes get destroyed, and I don't know if there's a real way to avoid that. And unless there is a way to, because when they hit each other, they get destroyed. So I really don't think there is a way to avoid that. So I think I'm just going to leave it as it is and just allow us to be able to knock down more boats if they do get destroyed. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do things. And if they kind of end up where they're kind of one's on stuck of the other one, or they're not moving, you can just get a bucket of water and kind of place it on the side down here and knock that down in order just to get them moving again. So I think it's fine. It's not perfect, but I think just when you're using bouncing boats and stuff, I just don't think there is a real way to get it perfect. So I think I'm gonna kind of call this a day for designing it, and in terms of like the mechanical side of it and the gameplay side of it. And I'm now gonna start thinking about what this is gonna look like, because at the moment it's not the most attractive build in the world, is it? So I'm gonna go and have a play around of things and kind of decide what materials I'm gonna make it out of. Remember, of course, I am gonna eventually be building it in survival mode. So when I'm coming up with materials, it's not like I can go, right, this is going to be built out of diamonds there and then emerald blocks down there. I have to think about what realistically, I can spend a lot of time shearing sheep and stuff, so getting wool's no problem, and, obviously things like stone is fine, but, I don't want to build the entire thing out of iron blocks because I simply couldn't do that. So I got to kind of bear that in mind when I'm deciding what it's going to look like. And I'm basically gonna rebuild the entire thing again, so I have it looking how I want it to look. And that might seem like a bit of a waste of time, but the reason I do that is because I can then take screenshots of it and I can send them to my Minecraft helpers, so then they can see exactly what it is that we need to build when we're building the video, so we're kind of all on the same page. When we're doing our building. But for now, I'm kind of happy with this. I think this is going to be a good fun game when we go to play it. So yeah, once again, I'm going to check back in with you once I've kind of come up with a little bit more of the plan of what this thing is going to look like. Right, okay, welcome back once again. So as you can see, I have now come up with a bit of a design. So what I did is I couldn't decide what material to use. Well, I kind of decided to build it out of wool. One, because it means I can have it very colorful, and I like colorful things, and also it's like wool's probably the easiest thing, maybe apart from wood, for me to get loads of in my lovely world. And I was trying to pick a color and I couldn't decide, so I loaded up my lovely world and I had to fly around just to see which color I've used least. And I realized that pink is probably my least used color, so I decided that it'd be cool to have it pink, and I was like, well, I don't want it just pink, so I thought pink and black would look good, and I think it does look good, but I just realized that it's the same color as the, the pig race game that I called. I think it's called, I don't know what it's called. The game where you ride on the back of pigs, that game. I realized that is the exact same colors, and I'm planning to build this kind of next to the, what's it next to? It's kind of behind the honey hunt game, near the banana. I'm thinking of building it there, and it's quite close to the pig game. So I'm actually thinking that even though I think this looks cool, I think I'm going to change it. And so what I did is I looked online, and what I like to do is I look up complementary colors. So I can look up colors that go well together. For example, on this game here, which ended up not being a game, I used orange and blue, and you can see they just look good together. The colors kind of complement each other quite well. And so I looked up kind of the main complementary color to pink, and it's green. And so I'm going to think about, actually, I think I'm definitely going to do it. I'm going to change the black to green. So this is the what it will look like, and I think that looks good. I think that does look cool. I like the light color of the pink with the dark green, so I think they're the colors I'm gonna go for. So I just wanted to show you that I did build this entire thing, but now I have to go and change it again to make it look green. You can also see I added some windows down here. At the moment, these are black stained glass, but I think I'm gonna change these to green stained glass, since I'm gonna change everything to green. So yeah. I just wanted to show you. Oh, is this dark green? Oh, it looks like really bright in there. That's a bit weird. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to cut ahead again until this is all green, and we can see whether it looks any better. So this is what it looks like now, and soon we're going to see what it looks like when it's changed to being green. Okay, so I've gone and rebuilt the entire thing, but with the green wall, and this is how it looks. So this is kind of comparing to what it looked like before. I think it's probably is nicer. See what I think that is a really nice combination of colors rather than the pink and the black. Like, I think a good thing to do is literally put them right next to each other. But I mean, obviously the main reason I decided to not go with the black was because I'd already done that before, and apparently I do everything the same. The things I built so much, like eventually I'm going to run out of different combinations of colors and blocks and stuff. But yeah, I think the green ended up looking really nice. So I've also added in some torches. I decided to make these glass blocks. I added a little bit around the outside as well, so this bit will link up to the path. I'll probably go and do it something a little bit like this, leading to the path. Once I kind of work out exactly where it's going to be going, maybe like this, maybe. So yeah, this is where you're going to enter the ride. But yeah, apart from that, it's pretty much done. I made all of the redstone again, so that's all there nicely working. I did that exactly the same. It's always nice just to do the redstone more than once, just so when I go to build it in the video, it's kind of in my muscle memory. Like, I generally have a screenshot up as I'm building as well, but of course, things change. So even though I've kind of designed this and I'm kind of happy with how this is at the moment now, like when I go to do it in the video, I might just suddenly change things. Like, things aren't set in stone when I plan them. I think mini games generally don't change too much, because normally if I've like practiced the gameplay of them, I don't want to suddenly change that. But especially when I'm building like a shop or something, there's a good chance when I go to build it, I'm gonna just kind of come up with a different idea or end up, I don't know, just doing it slightly different, and that's fine. That's kind of the fun of doing sort of live recorded videos, is that, you know, you never know exactly what's going to happen. So shall I have a game? Let's have a little game of it. So obviously it would be in a survival. I'll have it set to nighttime, so then that way I can go and set my spawn. So these chests here, I'd go and empty out all of my things from my inventory into them, just so that when if I die, I don't scatter everything down there. And also, if I do miss, then that means I'm going to go right up to the top again. And oh no! See, there we go. That was a bad example. Well, it's a good example, I guess, of me not making it. So looks like there's not much right in the middle at the moment. Let's try and land in the middle. Ooh, there we go. I was able to do it. And of course, because I didn't put my stuff in the chest, it's all now scattered around down here. So there we go. That is the game. What was I going to call it? Fool for it. That's what I was going to call it. So this is kind of the plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link in the description to the videos where I build this game, and when I have the tournament on the game as well, so you can see whether it changes at all. I'm doubting it's going to change too much, just because I think it's a pretty foolproof design. It's relatively simple, to be honest. So yeah, you can kind of see me building it and kind of see how I take this design and end up splitting it up into several videos, and how I kind of pace that out, and then, you know, how I end up deciding to do it in a tournament. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video here. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I would be happy to do more videos like this in the future, where I kind of show you other times I've done this. Like, sometimes when I'm building things, I go through even more, you know, iterations than I have for that thing, and things change again and again and again, and you're getting a little bit of a glimpse here at some of that. So here's a good example, actually, of me kind of showing how I was coming up with this is for the Berry Berry 2 game, when I was sort of trying out different colors and things and testing things out. But yeah, let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this, where I go through and explain kind of the mindset behind what I'm building. I know I won't do it for every single thing, because I kind of like to surprise people, and some things I kind of want to keep more secret, I guess. But yeah, if you'd like to see more things like this in the future, let me know, and I'll be happy to do them here on this channel. But for now, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!